Awesome. Okay, students, we are back again today making another functional piece of art. So we are going to be using clay and we are going to be making a pinch pot. But before we do that, I want to introduce you to Crystal. Crystal, say hi.
Hi, guys.
She's at home and she's going to do this too with us and she's going to tell me what to do. So the first thing, well, we're going to make a pot. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to wedge our clay. So Crystal, do you remember what wedging our clay does?
It makes our clay.
Does it mix it up?
It mixes it up.
And does it get air bubbles out?
It gets air bubbles out.
We don't want air bubbles in there.
We do not want air bubbles.
And it also kind of makes sure that moisture is everywhere it needs to be.
It's everywhere in one place.
Yeah. And so what we want to do is we're going to make ourselves a little pot, kind of like that. Something that we can store stuff inside of. And I should have actually had a real life pinch pot. Oh, I do have real life pinch pots in my room. I should have had these ready to go. I'm so sorry. So these were crazy pinch pots. I made one pinch pot here, and there's the inside of it. And then I made another pinch pot up here, and then I stuck them together. So it's a fancy way to use a pinch pot. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take our lump of clay that we've wedged, and we want to pat it into a ball. So we can pat it into a ball. We can also try to roll it into a ball. My clay is a little bit hard. If you were using Play-Doh, to roll it in the ball would be a whole lot easier because Play-Doh is soft. Yeah. So if you've made your Play-Doh, that's awesome. And I think the Play-Doh will actually dry. If you leave it out and let it be, it'll dry just like our clay will dry. So I'm going to smack this into a ball. Crystal, I think that it's fun to kind of smack clay around.
Yes,
Sometimes we just need to smack something, and this is a nice thing to pat. Yes, it is.
it is very fun.
It is fun. So now that I have my clay into a nice ball, I'm going to take my thumb. And it's not going to be a weak thumb. Yeah, I need to push my thumb into it. So I'm going to push really, really, really hard. And my clay is actually pretty dry. But my thumb is up there pretty good, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Then, do you remember this part? Quack, quack, quack.
Spreading it out.
Yeah. We're going to go pinch, 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 pinch. We're not pinching too hard where we pinch a hole through it, but we are pinching and yeah, we're making this in here. We're making it bigger. We're spreading it out. Now, here's something cool, Crystal, and for everybody at home. Pinch pots were some of the very, very first types of pottery that humans made, like back in caveman times.
To make them into what so they could eat.
So they could eat. And then what else are they going to do with these?
Make them into cups.
Cups, exactly. So that they could get water out of a creek or something, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Pretty helpful, huh?
Yes.
So there is my pinch pot. Now, I could leave it like this. Looks pretty good. Some of our friends at home might smash theirs. That's totally, totally normal. And for my parents, for my friends that might smash theirs, appreciate the fact that you have something with your fingerprints in it. Because clay and Play-Doh, they leave us our fingerprints, and that's pretty cool.
Something from them?
Yeah. So what I could do is, if I have it all done and it's exactly the way that my peer wants it done, I can use, I think I keep getting my rings on here every time I pinch it. I can use a fork, and I can carve patterns in here. Patterns are kind of fun. Patterns look cool with paint too.
The plastic, not for a plastic fork.
And I could use my metal fork too, as long as I wash it off really well when I'm done. And then also, what is this thing?
A plate.
A plate.
Make sure you have one of those because it will get stuff on the table.
Yeah, thank you. I should have told everybody that to begin with, shouldn't I? So I can carve a design in there. If I want to carve a design in there, maybe I want to do, if you have shish kebab skewers or something else to poke holes, maybe you want to poke some holes in it. I could use the end of my spoon to do little rectangles or curves. So maybe I want to use the end of this, and I want to go doot, doot, because that's kind of a cool shape. I can look around and see if there's things around my house that have cool, interesting, I don't know if that'll make a circle. I don't think that's strong enough to make a circle. Maybe, oh, here's a pen. Look at the end of that pen. I wonder if that'll make that T. Let's find out. Hey, look at that.
It's working.
It is working. Who knew?
Just make sure you wash your pen off if you decide to do that.
Ooh, good point.
Or you're going to have clay all over your pen.
Now, another important thing to do, what do you think I should do down here, Crystal?
Put your initials.
Put my initials. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and write my name. If you can write your name, you can write your name. If you want to write your initials are great. And then there's something else I make you do too, Crystal. I don't know if you've ever realized this in class, but I think a lot of times our peers help us with this.
Make sure you put them in the bag so they cannot harden.
Actually, we want them to harden because we want to be able to use them. So there, I've drawn the year on here. So this says, hey, yep, 2020. Let's do 2020. So something cool came out of 2020, right? So what you want to do is you want to let that dry. Now, if you made this out of Play-Doh, I think if you set it up on your shelf and you just let it dry, it'll dry on its own. And if you want to store stuff in it, you can. If you want to make it shiny, you could probably take Play-Doh and paint it with acrylic paint, and then you could put Mod Podge on it, and that Mod Podge would seal it up and make it shiny looking. If you want to do clay, if you send it back to school to Mrs. Harwood, she'll go ahead and cook it, and we can get you some paint or some glaze. If you glaze it, you have to bring it back, and I have to cook it in our kiln again. Clay gets cooked in an oven at a really, really super hot temperature. The oven has a special name. It's called a kiln. And it gets cooked at probably...
Make sure you don't use an oven.
Right, don't cook it in your regular oven. Bring it back to school, and I'll cook it here. 900 degrees. Is that hot?
Yes, it's very hot.
Yeah, it's very, very, very hot. It's like hotter than you cook a cake at. You cook a cake at about 300 degrees. So I have an oven here that cooks hotter than my oven at home for food. It would carbonize food. So go ahead and finish these up anyway. If you're not done working on them, if you're still working on them, Crystal said earlier to make sure you put yours in a bag. If you put it in a bag, you can keep working on it. If you're done working on it, put it on your shelf to dry. So
or bring it to Miss Harwood so she can cook it.
Exactly.
Like your initials on it so you don't get it lost.
So we don't get it lost, exactly. So that right there is my crazy little pinch pot with lots of designs and patterns in it. I might go back and add some stuff to the top here. But we want to thank you for joining us with Pinch Pots with Miss Crystal and Miss Julie. It was good talking to you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.